When I first stepped into the hallowed halls of St. Mary's High School as their newest foreign literature teacher, I never imagined that my mere presence would ignite such a storm. My name is Vera, and from the moment I walked into the faculty lounge, whispers seemed to follow me like shadows. The air was thick with curiosity and thinly veiled hostility. My youthful appearance, coupled with what some described as an unsettling allure, became an instant topic of gossip among both students and staff. It wasn't just my teaching credentials or passion for literature that caught attention. It was how I looked while doing it. My tailored blazers and confident stride were interpreted not as professionalism, but as calculated seduction by those who already doubted my intentions. Within days, rumors began swirling like a tempest. Some claimed I had left my husband after a scandalous affair, painting me as a femme fatale who used her beauty to manipulate others. Others speculated that I was running from something darker, a secret too shameful to confront. These baseless accusations felt like daggers piercing through every effort I made to prove myself. Each time I entered a classroom, I could feel eyes boring into me, not just from eager students hungry for knowledge, but also from suspicious colleagues scrutinizing my every move. Was I smiling too warmly at the boys in the front row? Did I linger too long near certain desks? Even innocuous gestures, like adjusting my glasses or leaning over to help a student, were twisted into evidence of impropriety. What hurt most was the deliberate exclusion. During lunch breaks, teachers clustered together in tight-knit groups, laughing over shared stories, all except me. I sat alone, acutely aware of their sidelong glances and muted conversations. Occasionally, I'd catch fragments of their dialogue. "She's trouble," one would hiss. "Mark my words, she'd bring the school down." Their words stung, not because they were true, but because they revealed the pettiness and envy festering beneath the surface. But perhaps the cruelest blow came when someone anonymously slipped a note under my office door. Scrawled in jagged handwriting were the words, "Leave before we make you leave." The threat hung heavy in the air, a stark reminder that I was fighting an uphill battle against forces determined to see me fail. Yet, despite the mounting pressure, I refused to back down. Teaching was more than a job, it was my calling. And though the road ahead promised only more resistance, I vowed to stand firm, even if it meant standing alone. The classroom had barely settled into its usual hum when Igor, a quiet yet intense 11th grader, slid a neatly folded letter onto my desk. My heart sank as I unfolded it during lunch break, only to find a declaration of love written in trembling handwriting. "Miss Vera," it began, "you are the light that guides me through every dark thought. Without you, life feels meaningless." While such youthful infatuation wasn't entirely unexpected, this confession placed me in an impossible position. How could I address his feelings without crushing him or alienating myself further from the already hostile faculty? The next day, Egger's eyes followed me everywhere, hopeful, desperate, and unrelenting. His obsession became palpable, and rumors spread like wildfire. Meanwhile, a group of female students, led by Christina, the daughter of one particular local parent, had formed a private chat group titled Expose Vera. Screenshots of their conversations began circulating among teachers, accusations of inappropriate behavior, claims of favoritism, and even fabricated stories about clandestine meetings between me and male students. Their venomous words stung deeply, especially since they were shared not just within school walls, but also with concerned parents. One afternoon, Marina stormed into the staff room, slamming a petition on the table. 20 signatures so far," she spat. "They want you gone for corrupting their children." The situation escalated quickly. Parents gathered outside the principal's office demanding action. Some cited Igor's letter as proof of my immoral influence, while others pointed to anonymous posts claiming I'd discussed sensitive topics in class. A heated meeting ensued, where voices rose in anger and judgment. She encouraged promiscuity, shouted one mother. Her presence alone is a distraction, chimed another. Even Mr. Fetter, who rarely missed an opportunity to criticize me, joined the chorus. Vera has deviated too far from the program, he declared. This isn't education, it's indoctrination. As if navigating these accusations wasn't exhausting enough, Igor's father arrived unexpectedly at school. He cornered me after hours, his face red with fury. "What kind of teacher are you?" he demanded, waving the crumpled letter in my face. "Do you have any idea what you've done to my son?" I tried to explain, to assure him that I hadn't encouraged Igor's affections, but he wouldn't listen. Instead, he threatened legal action, claiming I'd emotionally manipulated his child. Each new confrontation left me feeling more isolated, more vulnerable. Yet, amidst the chaos, I refused to abandon my principles. Teaching wasn't just about imparting knowledge. It was about fostering critical thinking, even if some couldn't handle the truth. It was late afternoon when the school director, Mr. Badham, summoned me to his office under the pretense of discussing urgent administrative matters. My stomach churned as I entered, only to find Marina and Mr. Fetter already seated, their faces grim with accusation. Without preamble, Mr. Badham leaned forward, his voice low but sharp. "Vera, there are rumors circulating that you've been involved with someone else's husband, specifically a member of our staff." His words hung in the air like a death sentence. I felt my cheeks flush, not from guilt, but from indignation. How dare they interrogate me based on baseless gossip? Marina chimed in, her tone dripping with venom. "This isn't just idle talk, Vera. People have seen you together at restaurants, at social events. It doesn't look good for the school's reputation." Her implication stung. Was I being accused of adultery simply because I attended professional gatherings? Before I could defend myself, Mr. Fetter interjected, his voice booming with self-righteous indignation. "And let's not forget your unorthodox teaching methods. You're deviating too far from the curriculum, filling students' heads with dangerous ideas about love and morality. This is education, not some avant-garde theater." His outburst was met with silence, though I could feel the weight of their collective judgment pressing down on me. The tension escalated further during a faculty meeting later that week. Mr. Fetter seized the opportunity to publicly humiliate me, accusing me of undermining traditional values. "She encouraged rebellion among students," he declared, slamming his fist on the table. "They call her by her first name, share jokes with her, and even exchange likes on social media. Where is the respect? Where is the discipline?" The room erupted into murmurs of agreement, leaving me isolated and exposed. Each word felt like a dagger aimed straight at my professionalism. But the worst blow came days later when I discovered something chilling, a tiny camera hidden inconspicuously in the corner of my office. My blood ran cold as I realized its purpose: to spy on me, to gather evidence against me. Who had planted it? Was it one of my jealous colleagues, or perhaps an angry parent seeking ammunition for their crusade? Panic gripped me as I imagined intimate moments, private conversations, all captured without my knowledge. In that moment, I understood the depth of the animosity directed toward me. They weren't just trying to discredit me. They were determined to destroy me. The classroom was buzzing with tension as I delved into Stendhal's Red and Black, a novel ripe with themes of passion, adultery, and societal hypocrisy. "What makes Julian Sorrell so compelling?" I asked, hoping to spark thoughtful discussion. Instead, the air crackled with hostility. A few male students, led by Igor, who had grown increasingly bold, began lobbing provocative questions at me. "Miss Vera," one of them smirked, "do you think it's okay for someone like Julian to sleep with his boss's wife? Isn't that just cheating?" Another chimed in, or is it romantic because he's young and ambitious? Their tone wasn't curious. It was mocking, designed to corner me into revealing something personal. I tried to steer the conversation back to literature, emphasizing how Stendhal critiques class structures through these relationships. But they weren't interested in analysis, they wanted spectacle. So, Miss Vera, Igor interjected, leaning forward with a smug grin. If you were Madame de Ranel, would you risk everything for love too? The room erupted in laughter, some students snickering while others shifted uncomfortably. My face burned, but I refused to let them see my discomfort. This isn't about me, I said firmly. It's about understanding human emotions within their historical context. Yet, even as I spoke, I could feel the weight of judgment pressing down on me. The situation spiraled out of control days later when an edited clip from that very lesson surfaced online. Someone had recorded the exchange covertly, slicing together snippets to make it seem as though I were endorsing reckless behavior rather than discussing literary themes. In the video, my attempts to redirect the conversation were cut out entirely, leaving only the most inflammatory moments intact. Within hours, the clip went viral, accompanied by hashtags like #teacherpredator and #moral-decay in education. Parents flooded the school with complaints, accusing me of corrupting their children. Even colleagues who once feigned neutrality now joined the chorus of condemnation. You've crossed the line this time, Mr. Fetter sneered during lunch. Your little show has become national news. To make matters worse, Igor's father stormed into the principal's office, demanding answers. Is this what you're teaching our kids? He bellowed, shoving his phone in my face. On its screen was the doctored video, distorted beyond recognition. Each accusation felt like another brick added to the wall closing in around me. And yet, despite the chaos, I couldn't help but notice Christina sitting quietly in the corner, her expression unreadable. Was she complicit? Or was she silently questioning the mob mentality consuming everyone else? The school was thrown into chaos when Igor was found unconscious in his room, an empty bottle of pills clutched in his hand. A hastily scribbled note lay beside him, confessing his unrequited love for me and blaming himself for my rejection. Though he survived, the incident became a media sensation overnight. Headlines screamed, teacher's rejection drives, student to suicide attempt, a gross distortion of reality that painted me as the villain. Reporters camped outside the school gates, shoving microphones at anyone who dared step out. Parents demanded answers, colleagues whispered behind closed doors, and even strangers weighed in on social media. The #teacherpredator trended nationwide, with thousands condemning me without hearing my side. Meanwhile, Igor's father stormed into the principal's office, his face contorted with rage. You've destroyed my son, he bellowed, slamming a fist on the desk. Do you have any idea what this has done to our family? His accusations grew more vicious by the minute. You manipulated him. You took advantage of his feelings. I tried to explain that I had never encouraged Igor's affections, but he wouldn't listen. Instead, he threatened legal action, vowing to sue me for emotional abuse. I'll make sure no school ever hires you again, he spat, his voice trembling with fury. Each word felt like a dagger piercing deeper into my already fragile resolve. But the attacks didn't stop there. Another wave of hostility came from within the school itself. One evening, while scrolling through my phone, I stumbled upon a private chat group created by some teachers. Screenshots revealed venomous conversations about me, including one particularly chilling message: she deserves everything she gets. Even worse, Marina's husband began publicly accusing me of ruining their marriage. My wife can't sleep at night because of her guilt, he ranted during a faculty meeting. Vira is poison, she seduces men and corrupts students. His words ignited another firestorm, with rumors spreading faster than we could contain them. Social media became a battleground. Anonymous accounts posted doctored images of me alongside cruel captions. Fake stories circulated, claiming I'd engaged in inappropriate behavior both inside and outside the classroom. Every comment section was a cesspool of vitriol, filled with calls for my resignation or imprisonment. Yet amidst the chaos, something unexpected happened. A small group of students rallied to defend me. They started the hashtag Stand with Vira, sharing heartfelt testimonials about my dedication as a teacher. But their voices were drowned out by the overwhelming tide of hatred. As days turned into weeks, the pressure mounted. Sleep eluded me. Every knock on the door sent my heart racing. Would they force me out? Could I endure much longer? Despite the mounting odds, I refused to surrender. This wasn't just my career, it was my purpose. The storm reached its peak when an anonymous envelope appeared on my desk one morning. Inside was a formal letter offering me a substantial sum of money, severance pay. They called it if I agreed to resign quietly and leave the school without causing further disruption. The message was clear: go now or face the consequences. My hands trembled as I read the fine print, which included clauses about confidentiality and non-disclosure. It felt like a bribe wrapped in bureaucratic language, a desperate attempt to silence me before the truth came out. But the truth did come out, just not in the way they intended. A local journalist named Elena contacted me after stumbling upon irregularities during her investigation into the school's administration. She revealed that several teachers had been receiving kickbacks for pushing private tutoring services, disguised as mandatory enrichment programs. Worse still, she uncovered evidence suggesting that Mr. Badham himself had falsified records to secure additional funding from the Department of Education. The scandal exploded overnight, with headlines screaming corruption, greed, and systemic failure. Parents were outraged, demanding accountability, while students rallied outside the gates, holding signs that read #Justice for Vira. Yet, even amidst this chaos, I found myself standing at a crossroads. On one side lay safety, a quiet exit with enough money to start over somewhere new. On the other stood uncertainty but integrity, staying to fight for justice, no matter how bruised and battered I might become. Christina approached me after class one day, her voice unusually soft. "Miss Vera," she began hesitantly, "you've changed things here. For better or worse, people are talking about what really matters now. But if you stay, it won't be easy." Her words echoed in my mind long after she left. Marina cornered me later that week, her usual venom replaced by something resembling guilt. "Take the offer," she urged, glancing nervously over her shoulder. "Before it's too late. They'll destroy you if you don't." And yet, despite the warnings, I couldn't ignore the growing sense of purpose within me. This wasn't just about me anymore, it was about exposing the rot festering beneath the polished veneer of St. Mary's High School. That night, I sat alone at my apartment, staring at the unsigned check lying ominously on my coffee table. Outside, reporters shouted questions through megaphones, their cameras flashing like strobe lights. Igor's father had joined the circus too, threatening legal action while simultaneously lobbying for reforms he claimed would restore decency. Everyone wanted a piece of the drama unfolding around me, but none of them truly understood the weight of the choice I faced. In the end, I made my decision not because I believed I could win, but because I knew I couldn't live with myself if I walked away. Teaching wasn't just a job, it was my calling. And sometimes, fulfilling your purpose meant standing firm against the tide, even when it threatened to pull you under.